And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait. Enough of that bullshit, because God knows that Nickelback. Oh, Nickelback. We don't need to hear that at the beginning of any narration. But I digress. Here I am, Demon Kaisho, talking to you guys about the new and improved, well, a bit improved, MMO, the DC Universe Online. And I've got to say, so far, even though Windows Movie Maker is actually frustrating the shit out of me, I've got to say, I'll take this moment to say, just, I want to physically rape the person that came up with this piece of shit software. I hate it so much that I will do, in fact, rape the hell out of the guy or team that made this. If I was a villain, I would just encase them all in ice. All of them. But I digress. Back to topic at hand.
The ship knows you're free. Watch out.
DC Universe Online. And I'm just going to leave that in there because who knows if this will even record or not. Whatever.
My readings show forces
Either way, it's a good beta, and I'm enjoying it so far. I spent at least a good half an hour to an hour just coming up with my character, what he'll do, like my abilities, and just everything I changed, I kept changing back or changing again because I wanted it to be some kind of fluidity in my head that, oh, if I do this, I have to do that. It's like if I have fire, like, do I need to shoot laser beams or do I need a sword? And like, if I have a sword, why do I have fire to begin with? You know, it's like, so those kind of questions I answered in my head, and as I walk around like a cocky bastard, yes, look at me standing there in my glorious costume, and cape, and boots, and colors, spiral colors, by the way. I punch a freaking rock, and it goes flying through the air, because I can do that, because anybody with super strength should be able to punch a rock, and a boulder should just fly out of the ground, and you should be able to punch it, just because that happens. And so, back to the beta. There are at least, 6 main classes, so to speak. And you gotta think, respectively, that you get these powers through a, I guess, a controlled, mass accident, I guess, that Lex Luthor does as a preventative measure to help the heroes of this time battle Brainiac in the future, as Brainiac proceeds to swoop down right as Lex has killed Superman and proceeded to take all of our bases. And so Lex travels back in time to save everyone's buttholes. And you would think, even though amongst this, that there would be some kind of resolution between the villains and heroes. I mention this because there are 2 types of servers, PvP and PvE. And you would think, story-wise, that it's like you would be as a hero and like, oh man, did that guy just steal an entire monument? I don't really care, because I gotta go fight all of Brainiac in his entire thing. And as a villain, you gotta consider that, does stealing the Mona Lisa really mean anything? Like, to anybody? No. Like, compared to just dying or being killed in a terrible way, because as Lex mentioned it, the fortunate died, period. So there are a lot of worse things than death out there, and as a villain, why steal shit? When you could cooperate, or when heroes can work together with the villains. But I guess both sides decide to, like, oh, well, I guess I have to go stop this guy from, stealing, I don't know, half the ocean. And the villain stealing half the ocean says, I gotta do this because I'm compelled to. Like, who cares if, the entire world is gonna blow up shortly, or I could be, like, raped by giant robot tentacles periodically, be raped to sleep by them, just giant robot tentacles. You imagine that, being raped to sleep? It's terrible. It's frightening. Sink that in for a moment. Now ask yourself, what would you do? What would you do?
The subject is no longer.
So as I digress, back again. Oh God, I'm just going off on tangents. There are 6 abilities that you get: fire and ice, and so far they look to be the tanks. Gadgets and mental abilities. And last, sorcery and nature. And each skill tree or each ability has its two separate skill trees. So you can essentially have the same ability but use an entire different skill tree. And as you see, I'm customizing my characters right now by adding equipment. And you don't have to necessarily do this. You can just take the equipment and that'll give you the stats, but you don't necessarily have to equip the way that looks. So what I'm saying is, you keep the stats of that equipment, but you don't necessarily have to keep wearing the same thing, or you could wear the same thing. So that's up to you to decide. I'm pretty sure that this went to a lot of expense and detail and pain and struggle to come up with this. But I love him for it. Love him for it. So, no surprise, Windows Movie Maker cut out me again. Yay! You gotta love when my tone throughout this video has changed at least 3 times, because you can just tell the more frustrated I get. So, where was I? Oh yes, talking about the skill trees in the ability classes. So you can essentially have 2 distinct characters with the same ability, whereas somebody that's using nature can have a shape-shifting build, while the same person has ability nature to use plants, and one with access to all 3 modes of movement with shapeshifting, and the other you can damage over time, do all sort of nifty things. And since we're on the subject of movement, I will say that there are 3 different archetypes, which are, you gotta think like Flash, Superman, and Batman. So super fast, flight, and pretty much just jumping around and clinging to stuff. Because that makes a lot of sense. You're Batman, you gotta put a grappling hook and just and start flying, because that's a totally normal thing for Batman to do. And apparently people at Gotham City just don't even notice or don't even care that he's just swinging on buildings. You think that even in your peripheral vision, you're a person in Gotham, you would notice a guy swinging off a building. I mean, that's relatively high, but whatever, right? So Speed Force, it's my preferred mode of movement. I guess I lean toward flight, but again, you have to understand each mode of movement has its own set of abilities. They all do stuff differently. Whereas, you get an ability with, super speed to tap into the Speed Force, and you can, run even faster. They can run faster, and with acrobatics, you get like I said, you get the ability to cling to stuff, get a grappling hook, and you can cling on to buildings, and you can actually get an ability where you can mimic the movement of a jetpack. And it's funny with acrobatics how you can glide without having a cape, and you can just run on water. I find that just tickles me funny, how that ability to run on water and just glide as you're just acrobatic is usually reserved for people that are deities or mythological or biblical figures, but it's okay. But as you see, I fell into this junk pile, and this is actually the same quest for all villains and heroes alike. So if you're gonna make new characters, this is the same thing you have to deal with over and over. And I've made at least 5, 6 characters, and yeah, it's gotten kind of stale. But this is the only way you can get the first 3 levels. So that is fantastic. here I go, getting increasingly more frustrated. Not with the game, but just fucking movie maker. Oh god, it just. I'm not gonna hear the end of this from Sundeta. He's judging me in my narrating abilities. He already judged my costume, telling me I just look interesting. But I take whatever he has to say with a grain of salt. He's entitled to his opinion. He's like, I may not agree with what you say, sir, but I will defend your death, the right to say it. And I actually have the ability to do that now. But saying that, I will talk a little bit about how the beta does need a lot of work. I mean, I guess that's what this is for. I mean, hopefully, I don't know how much they could fix in 8 months' time, or fix while they're playing. Because one of the big issues is the chugging, you know, where like the game will look like it's frozen, but it actually isn't, and you have to give it at least about 2-3 minutes. And sometimes it'll actually just freeze. Like you can go like for 10 minutes and it'll still be at that same screen. Apparently your character will still be in the world. Either you died or where you respawned at, or you just won't be moving at all. And that's kind of a shame. I mean, I don't know how they can fix that. I guess a lot of server maintenance seems to be going on. That, or a lot of people got into the beta and should have. I think if they were giving out codes and they could, you know, moderate that. But seeing that how PlayStation Plus users got the ability to download that 8-hour game.
Your way.
I mean, 8-hour download. I mean, it was massive. Do you think they would have some sort of like, you know, just oh man, there's like this at least whole. They have the ability to hold at least 5,000 people at a minimum, you know, on both servers. So they only gave us 2, so I guess they didn't expect much, unless they're really big servers. But I mean, the demand is a lot. I mean, all your specific things are showing up. Your items, your abilities, your moves. I mean, your individuality comes at some sort of cost. A lot. It's really big, you know, to at least them. You know, so it probably takes a lot out of the processing and server. So, and there is a issue with, you know, voice chat in total. Like your group or your league, you know, may not be able to hear you when you join. So I will say, like, just log out and log back in and fix that problem. But anything else, like, don't be afraid if you PlayStation users. Like if it stops downloading or freezes, that happens naturally. So just like either, you know, as you're downloading, by the way, if it stops downloading or you get to a point where it's not installing at all, then just simply you know, quit from your XMB. I will say that you know, the XMB popping up in game does kind of make it go a little bit slower. Other than that, I would say just the menus overall need a little bit of work. I mean, it's just kind of difficult to navigate. So you gotta take that with, you know, how you can get it. I mean, you can really tell, like, it, you know, most of the times when you do an MMO on a console, it's very hard to transfer over. And I would say, you know, they're just doing their best. So I got a lot of positive outlook for this game. I think this game could do really well if it, you know, just fix a lot of things. There's nothing game breaking at the moment. Well, right now I guess, you know, there are a lot more heroes than there are villains on the PvP server. I don't know, but I guess people like don't want to be heroes. When you're the cowboys and Indians, people just want to be, you know, the cowboys. But screw that! They want to shoot some arrows through the guy. God damn it! You will probably see my later video characters, Mark Shenanigans, and other videos. And I'll mention not only to subscribe to me, Demon Casho, subscribe to, you know, Spiral Aether, you know, or I'll get the hose again. Please, I'll be good. Please. Oh, he's like, nah. Again, yeah, I just mentioned that. But I guess I'm really gonna call it quits for this narration. Yeah, there's gonna be some video strewn about, but here's more video left over, you know, for me to put up to narrate and fill your heads up with my words. So I will tell you guys to put up with that shit. This is Demon Kai Show telling you, till then, spiral on.
Damage on this vessel continues to mount. Destroy the escapee immediately.